Hey everyone, VH here. Today we're going to go through my Shadow Faction guide of 2025. Please like and subscribe for daily content. I've got plenty of tier lists on my account based on all the heroes and the artifacts, and I also have other guides for all the other factions coming out soon. So, starting off with the Shadow Faction. Overall, it's the best faction in the game. It's got one must-build character. This is a character that you should have, or a hero I should say, that should be on every single account. Most of the time, the must-build characters are only heroes you need to build to level 9 and 10, and are mainly support heroes. Their main function is going to be to get you through certain parts of the game where basically they can cheese it for you. We've got three main carry heroes. The main heroes, carry heroes, can be your first E5. They'll carry your team through most parts of the game. Some drop off sooner than others, but they can certainly be your main hero. Then they have three great support heroes. They're not the main guys in your team, but they're the ones that can come through and boost your power. Three potentially viable. These are either heroes that are niche to build around, or there's better options, or they'll be really good in the early game but drop off really quick, but they're easy to build because they come in basic shards. And then unfortunately there's 12 forever food. These guys you can virtually just feed off to your heart's content. They're really not very strong. And to start off with, we're going into essential builds, and we've got Tix. Tix is fantastic. He can either be used as like your main carry hero, so he can be your first E5, and he's great in loads of different game modes, or he can be someone that you build up to 10 star and just use in your team when you need to. He has a great ability which is attack swap. So swaps his attack with the highest attack enemy. He also reduces their attacks. He steals attack on his active skill. He's got really solid control and built-in control immunity and crit, so he's very easy to build around. Tix is one of them as well. He's a main tenant for Eloise, so if you're building an Eloise account, you're going to want Tix. Next on to your main carry heroes. First up is Eloise. She's the most optimum hero in the game to be your main carry hero. You will see 80% of accounts that will start off with Eloise and use her right through until they get their Transcendence teams. She attack steals a little bit, which isn't really what she's useful for. She does serious damage over time, and her block counters inflict big damage over time, and she heals from it, so it ramps up throughout the round. So if she's in slot 1 and she's getting hit, she's counter-attacking multiple enemy heroes, and then inflicting them with damage over time, which hits at the end of the round, which then heals her up. She can become nearly unkillable unless she gets really burst down, which again, her attack still helps with that. So yeah, everyone knows about Eloise, super strong, most optimum hero. Then we've got Ithaca. His main ability is Ghost Possessed, and it's basically a follow-up attack. So any enemy that she inflicts with Ghost Possessed also takes damage when she attacks teammates. She gets 100% health restoration for every bit of damage she gets from that. So you can imagine as she's doing her basic attack and her active skill, and it's inflicting Ghost Possessed on the opposition, every time then she's hitting someone else on their team, those guys are taking damage and she's healing. Again, ends up doing a lot of damage and she heals really nicely. When she gets a kill, she gets 100% armor break, and every time she does damage, as well as doing the Ghost Possessed damage, she also does extra 50% of dot damage based on the damage of her basic or active skills. So again, if she's hitting hard, she's then inflicting damage over time on them to 50% of the damage it's originally done. Super strong. She can get a little bit squishy, but definitely through the early game you can use her, and then towards more mid-late game you can use her as just a damage dealer in boss fights. And then we've got Tix. Obviously, we've already talked about Tix. The same things applies to what I've already mentioned. Next up, we have great support. Annabelle. Annabelle does a couple of good things. She reduces crit on the opposition. She also boosts your highest attack hero's attack, which is obviously quite cool. And she has the unique ability that affected enemies' attacks do 1% damage, and then also heal several of your teammates of 1,000% of their attack. So she does that through her active skill, and when she dies... So if you think most of the time your hero is going to die to the opposition's best hero, she then nerfs them for 3 rounds, and it's a skill effect, so it can't be purified. Betty's great. As well as being a fantastic Transcendence hero, she's actually a really nice support. So what she does is she counterattacks for a start, and she has a chance to twine. Her basic attack has 3 chances to twine, which is really high. Her active skill can do huge damage, and it bleeds and twines. And when enemies get twined, it increases her attack, reduces their energy, and her active skill does extra damage to them. So a really nice all-round hero that you can put on most teams, and she can be your main controller. And finally, Gustin. Gustin's a really weird one. His active skill is Demon Totem, and it has a chance to get rid of attribute buffs from the opposition. When taking damage, your teammates, it has a chance to get rid of debuffs on them, and it has a passive chance at the end of the round to reduce 30 energy of 2 enemies. His main ability is Soul Link. Soul Link at the start of the battle, a random enemy will get it, and every time they do damage, they take 70% back of damage dealt. So if you get lucky and hit their main hero, they're taking 70% damage of the damage they're putting out, and it transfers on their death as well. So he's a bit niche, not as versatile I think as Betty or Annabelle, but can certainly be really useful and a really fun hero. And then we get to potentially viable. Onkirimaru is a weird one. He's a fantastic tenant, so I really wouldn't recommend using up his copies, even if you're not building him to build him as a hero for your team. But certainly you'd want to keep him as a tenant. When he dies, he buffs the highest attack teammate's attack, so he does like follow-up attacks based on Onkirimaru's attack, which is quite nice. And if you kill someone with that attack, he then revives at the end of the next round. His basic attack damages frontline, and his active skill does nice damage to the backline, boosts your team's armor, and either gives your team damage reduction or precision, depending if he's back or frontline. So he could have gone in the support tier, but there is others that are just better than him all round in this faction and others. But because he's also a tenant, I feel like he's a viable hero that you can build up. I've put Horus in here. Horus is here because as an early game hero, obviously you can build him up, and he can be your main hero, but he dies off relatively quickly. But he does great boss damage. He has healing. He's hard to control because when he blocks, he gets rid of control effects, so he can be put onto other block teams with people like Eloise. So it's difficult. I've put him here rather than food because if you want to build him out, you can. If you're not interested in building him, get rid of him because there's no other reason he's useful. He's not a tenant or anything like that. He's not good for any niche game modes. You either want him on your team or you don't. And then finally, Norton Haig. I don't like Norton Haig. I've got to be honest with you. So he has a chance to stun at the end of each round. His basic attack only hits one enemy and has a chance to stun. His ult is inconsistent. It can hit hard. It depends on the chances of his like Abyssal Sea or whatever it's called stacks up on the opposition. And then it can go quite hard if he gets a lot of stacks of that. But he can also not get a lot of stacks of that. For me, his damage is way too inconsistent to be your main hero. And then his CC isn't enough to make him like a support hero. I do think, though, he's a fun hero to build around. And you could definitely do that. It just depends, as I said, on kind of where he fits in. But yeah, there we go. I'm all done. That is a Shadow faction. Every other hero that I haven't mentioned, you can use as food indiscriminately. So we just don't have to worry about it. I really appreciate if you're still watching at this point. Thanks for watching and listening. Any suggestions, please put them down in the comments. I'll respond to every comment. Please like and subscribe. Have a great one. VH out.